There we go. Ready to rumble?
Yep.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the MMB podcast. For those of you who haven't listened, it's been a little bit of time since my last one. Just a little heads up moving forward. A lot of cool things to come, weekly podcasts to come. But the goal is, like I was just talking to my boy Nick, saying that the main thing with this moving forward is to put out a positive message, try to impact some people, have great conversations, and just really push the message of positivity, limiting negative self-talk, talking about discipline, talking about positive habits in their life, and just trying to have someone on every week that I think I connect with, that's inspired me, that's impacted me, and I think someone that we have good conversations with. So I'm excited to talk to Nick today a little bit more and just have a good conversation. So with that being said, Nick, what's going on, brother?
Jeff, what's up, man? It's been too long since we've actually caught up. I know we've been trying to plan something like this for a couple months now.
Yeah, dude, it's funny how it works. I feel like we've always chit-chatting, we're always checking in on each other, always trying to catch up, but like we're both being like, what are we, 3, 4 hours apart now? It's just one of those things where it's hard to find the time as you get older. It's crazy. How old are you now?
In a few months, in March, I'll be 29.
Dude, it's so crazy.
Getting closer, man. Almost 30.
It's wild. It is wild
Yeah.
because I think back, I keep thinking Equinox when we first, or school, or when we moved out there. Dude, it's 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's wild.
That is weird. So it's just funny because 6 years ago is when we met. Well, we didn't meet. We met at Springfield, obviously, but moved out there. But it's just crazy how time flies because I think about
insane
competing and stuff and how, I was doing that back then and how my goals have completely changed. I don't know where you're at. Like, where are you at now with then? Because you're doing, and this is me being genuine, not just asking for everybody else, but like, where are you at now? Because you were competing, you were doing the junior strongman back then. You've had bicep tear, and then some setbacks, and then some transition career. Like, where are you at now with what you're trying to do, man?
Well, back then, you're right. I was just coming off the junior world championship. And at that point, my goal was like, okay, let's win the world championship. Let's be the world's strongest man. And to be honest, at this point, that's not my goal anymore. Or it is always something in the back of my mind, but that's not what I'm gunning for, like as like the first thing, like first burner on my stove kind of thing. Like I'm training because I love it. And I'm still competing. I'm actually competing in July.
You are? Dude, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. When's the last time you competed?
I haven't really told many people that at all, to be honest.
Bro, I'm hyped. Let's go.
I got an invite, so I was like, you never know when the invites will stop. And it's a Canadian show. I got invited by JF Carone. He's a legend. So it's like, hey, I mean, I can't say no. And
no, you got it.
I don't even know the events yet. It's 2 days, 8 events for each day. It's gonna be wild. So, but like, I'm just going into it like I'm just happy to be here, man. I love it. I love this shit. I'll never stop enjoying it and being strong. And also, I'm 2 for 2 on bicep tears. The last 2 competitions were both fucking bicep tears. So I wouldn't mind, like, just competing again and having a different experience. Just I don't want like my last experiences to be that. So if nothing else, I'm just going out there for fun. My brother got the invite as well.
Dude, so you guys are going to compete together?
Yeah, Zach and I are going out there together. It's not team
though, right? You're.
No, it's not. No, it's like the North American Championship for strongman. It's like the biggest Canadian strongman event, is what they said. Seems intense. I don't know too much about it. I don't want to know too much about it. I don't want to stress myself out because it doesn't matter. It's like, I'm going to go out there and have some fun. And right now, yeah.
When is it? When did you say
July 15 and 16, I think, are the dates.
So like 6.5, 7 months?
Yeah. So right now, the early beginning stages of training, it's very generalized. I don't even need to know the events. I just need to say, okay, come these months, reverse engineer, come these months. And I have a coach for this, Andrew Triana. He'll always be my coach.
Savage, dude. He every time I talk to Andy, and I haven't in a while, it's like I feel pretty smart. And then I just feel so dumb after talking to Andy. He's just he's such a good dude, but just his level of deep knowledge is just mind-blowing.
It's funny because Andy is my best friend, and I can confidently say that he's been my best friend for, since college. I met him freshman year. And it's funny being so close to him as a friend and understanding and having respect for the fact that, like, it's like communicating through aliens when I talk to that kid. It's like, it's like, okay, like I'm gonna understand like everything. It's funny because like me and him are best friends. So a lot of time people like expect me to know everything he's saying or like at least be able to interpret it better. And I'm like, man, I'm just as lost as you are. Like sometimes it's like he speaks another language. And I just think that the gift that he has for intelligence is probably not gonna fully be appreciated until like years down the line. He's like next level.
Bro, you know who and you can tell me if this is I'm going off in a weird direction. He's
Yeah.
like the X-Fizz version of like Elon Musk mentality.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right.
Like he's
Honestly,
got
you're like,
that like that like you talk to him and you're like, man, like he processes such at a deeper level and
yeah,
looks at things so different. And it's just like that obsessive work ethic combined with it all. It's just crazy.
it's like this like intelligence has like never been done, and he's pretty young. It's like
He's super young compared to
same
like,
vibe, same vibe. Yeah.
dude, I'm so pumped for you. I didn't know if you were actually gonna be competing again because I didn't know where you're at. And that's like, I'm gonna ask you
Yeah.
this.
So
Oh, go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead.
it's just literally like I said, it's just for fun at this point. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. Am I gonna turn up and go ape shit? I mean, that's in my blood.
Let's
I'm gonna
go.
freak out. I'm
Right.
gonna like do what I do, but uh, I'm going to do it in a sense where I'm gonna really try and be careful and aware. Like, no more injuries, nothing like that. Don't get ahead of yourself. I feel the injuries that I've had in the past are I was maybe going too fast on game day, if that makes any sense. And that's good and fun and all, but it's like I need to be a little bit more mindful and know how to open up and know when to open up and know that in the end of the day, this isn't like a do or like like do all whatever. It's just for fun. I'm here for the experience and the memories and all that stuff. Like when I go and compete, I love competing in all aspects. I like the in between time. I like learning the other athletes. I like eating with the other athletes, being around other people. So all of those things, it's why I'm still in it.
Do you think you're more chill and excited in a different way than for this one than you were for the last few when you were almost competing maybe at a different mentality with the injuries flaring up and then coming back?
Oh yeah. Well, for my last few competitions, it was kind of like, okay, there's a lot on the line here. For example, rewind 2019, the end of it, my first bicep injury, it was the team world championship with me and Zach. And, it was like, if Zach and I won the team world championship, that's going to kind of take our strongman career to the next level. If we
Right.
could be like, hey, we're the world's strongest team, world's strongest brothers, whatever, that would have been great. And we were doing great in that competition. I think we were tied for third, and then my bicep just tore right off the bone, so that didn't help. And then OSG, once again, a lot on the line there. It was like, okay, if you win this competition, you get an invite to Giants Live, which gets you an invite to World's Strongest Man. So, like in my head, I'm like, okay, coming off a bicep tear, now I got to climb the ranks again and like prove my worth, and then go to World's Strongest Man. And I was like fucking freaking out about that. I was like, let's go, all or nothing, do or die.
Right.
And that's a much different mindset. And not that I'm not going to have urgency for this because I will, like I just like want to get strong and like all that good stuff, but it's just definitely directed different, probably hopefully in a more healthier way. When I won my biggest competition ever, the junior world championship, I went into it like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. I didn't go into it with crazy like do or die. I just kind of went into it like I'm going to do the best that I can do, and that's usually when I compete the best.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, it makes sense though. Like if you go into it, like it's almost getting too hyped, too much pressure. I have to do this. I have to do this. And then when you go into something where you're like, I'm trained, I'm ready, but like a kind of a fuck it mentality, and you just kind of like, let's see what happens. Sometimes you perform the best because you take a ton of stress off yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how you do that. I didn't know that was coming. That's super cool. So at this point, your training's been going well. You're just trying to basically just get stronger all around.
Um, Actually getting stronger indirectly. I'm not doing any direct strength. Like I actually haven't been training heavy. I mean, I know I've posted a couple heavy lifts recently. Like I posted heavy deadlifts, whatever. That was off program. That was off the rails. I
That was
like don't.
800 for a double, right?
Yeah, I'm not training heavy. Like I like wasn't really supposed to do that. I just kind of screwed up my training week with the order of events. And that day was like supposed to be a training day that would have been like repeated too many times. So it was like, oh, I already messed up my training week and I haven't deadlifted in a while. I'm just going to go deadlift. But right now it's all volume and capacity work. So like I said, I'm training in a fit factory because I can get it done there. Because right now it's all about just like exhausting my systems or a specific muscle group, and you don't need much weight for that. And I'm just working on essentially just building volume and capacity and building up that total tonnage come down the line. So
So is it more convenience at this point because you're traveling a lot?
as of right now, yeah, but I'm definitely going to be traveling more for training once things get more serious. I'll because the other gym in Natick is 45 to 50 minutes away, and
Yeah.
I can get away with going there once a week right now. But I'm going to have to go there 2 to 3 times a week come the soon
Where does
future.
Zach train?
Natick as well.
Oh, okay. Does he still drive down there like consistently?
Yeah, but he's from Foxborough, so it's a slightly better. I think it's 25 to 30 minutes
Just more
as
doable.
opposed to like 40 to 50.
Gotcha. It makes sense though. I mean, the commute adds up. I mean, the commute
It
adds up
does.
really quick. So are you, obviously I've seen a million of your posts going up now. Are you still doing any training? Are you doing mostly real estate now?
Yeah, honestly, I'm still doing both. Like
Nice.
I'm never going to say no to a client who approaches me and says, "I want to work hard. Will you help me change?" Like I just can't say no to that. And
Right.
obviously, I'm sure being a coach, people come and go for the seasons. So like someone's like, "Hey, I know we haven't worked together in a while. I want to get back on training with you." It's like, sure, that's like nice, like a familiar person to pick back up. Easy. I'll take some people to pick back up, or I'll take new clients as well. But I'm definitely trying to organize it in a manner that's more like, okay, on these days I'm coaching and training, but not on these days because I need those for real estate, things like that. So it's a little bit less of a flexible schedule, but that's totally fine because it's actually making you more organized for both on both ends of the spectrum. So right now, neither real estate or personal training is so busy where I have to totally drop or sacrifice either one of them. So it's kind of like a okay balance at the moment.
It's crazy. I'm in an interesting spot now when it comes to the balance side. So we were talking for a few minutes before we got on, and it was so basically I've transitioned completely out of like any type of big weightlifting, bodybuilding stuff. So now I have a couple goals this year. So like last year, I don't know if you saw, I made a post, or I don't even know if we talked about it, but I did like a half marathon last year, and then I did a
I did
Spartan
see that.
Beast,
Yep.
which was like a 13-mile, 30 obstacle course race.
It's
And
wild.
then, dude, the atmosphere, and like this is like a vibe I got, almost probably similar to Strongman, but like I was never big into like the Spartan races. I'm like, why are people paying all this money to like just like do all this stuff and go through like, a couple hours of event or whatever. But I did the 13 miler and like I was training for the half and I was like, oh shoot, this went better than expected. And then
No.
I got obsessed. This last year I've become ungodly obsessed with like endurance athletes or just the mindset of like elite athletes and just what it takes when shit hits the fan and you're uncomfortable and it's like you want to quit and like what keeps people pushing, and then just the idea of like what are you physically capable of and what is your Everest, what is your limit. So like I was like there was a shoot, I'm gonna wrote Colin O'Brady. Do you know so he was like an endurance, crazy endurance athlete and does all these crazy things like he hiked Everest, the tops of different peaks he got to a certain time. He does all this crazy stuff. And he got famous for this thing in Antarctica he did where he had to over like 60 something days. He traveled 12 hours or 14 hours a day, whatever it was, like pulling a sled in like minus 30-degree weather. Like it's insane, insane stuff. And he wrote a book called like What's Your Everest? And I
Mm.
got obsessed and fascinated by like he was like third degree burns when he was like 20 years old, told he was never
Oh,
going to walk again. And then he
oh,
like did all this stuff. But when his mom, when he got, so he got burned and like literally the day after he got burned, their doctor's like, you're probably not going to walk again. The mom literally told him like, you're going to walk again. And I want you to pick what you're going to do when you're going to walk again. Like literally day 2 of after this happened. And he was like, I don't know what to do. He's like, my mom's like, pick something. He's like, I'll do a triathlon. And so then like a year and a half later, he does a triathlon after he was never going to walk again, and he wins it. And it was like this crazy story. So then he just started seeing what he was capable
That's
of.
wild.
Dude, it's super inspiring. And then he wrote a book called What's Your Everest? And the idea is like, the Everest is the goal that scares you enough where you almost don't think you can do it, but you shoot to try it and to find out if it's possible. And it's like, if you think you can do it, it's not your Everest. But if you question if it's possible, that's your Everest. So the whole point of this is like, I did the 13-mile Spartan race, and I was like, oh man, I did this better than I thought. It sucked, but I did better than I thought. And then it took me like 5.5 hours. And I'm like, what's next? So then my friend, who's a client of mine, she does these big races. So the next step was there's a 30-miler. It's a 30-mile, 60 obstacle course, Spartan Ultra. And big step, right? It doubles the mileage, and it's like a 10 to 12 hour race.
Oh.
And, different elevation gain and stuff like that. But I'm like, part of me is like, well, I did 15 and I had some of the tank. I think I can do that if I train enough. I don't think that's the Everest, but I need to do it. So I'm doing that in May, 30-miler.
Oh, no way.
So I'm flying out to North Carolina for the race.
That's sweet.
So yeah, so I'm pumped about it, but it's a 30-mile, 60 obstacle to test like my, 10 to 12 hour race to see what I'm capable of. And like all the injuries and stuff, I never told myself I could do it, but I'm like, fuck it. I just got to work around the injuries,
Yeah, of course.
And just see what I can do. So long story short, I'm like, okay, that's next. But then what's Everest? And I'm looking and I talked to my friend. She's like, well, the hardest obstacle course race in the country is World Toughest Mudder. It's a 24-hour race.
Oh my God.
24 hours. It's a 5-mile course with 20 obstacles. Every like 5 of the 20 are water based, and it starts at noon and ends at noon. And I'm like, that's fucking Everest, dude. Like that's Everest. So in November 4th out in Texas, I'm flying out to do that race. So that's going to be like the ultimate test of willpower and like
you already signed up for that?
Yeah.
You're friggin' insane, bro.
So this goal this year is basically, I call it the year of growth in the year of getting the year of, so it's the year of growth, and then it's getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That's like my 2 big mottos I'm saying. But I want to know what I'm physically capable, not physically capable of, like mentally capable of. And so like, I feel like that's going to be the ultimate test of training for the year, but just finding out like your true potential, like the idea of on your deathbed, did you figure out what you're mentally and physically capable of, or did you leave more in the tank? So anyway, that's going to be my year ahead.
That's wild, man. I cannot wait to follow you throughout that. That's insane.
So
next one's in May. That's awesome.
What was that?
Next one's in May though, the 30.
Yeah, it's double the most mileage. I've never done like a running marathon, so this is like different though. It's like running, jogging, hiking, obstacles, monkey bars, climbing, crawling, rope stuff. So it's just like it's more of endurance and just like being prepared and training, and like just kind of it's a long time on your feet going through stuff.
That's a lot, dude.
So I'm excited to see what happens, and I think that's been my biggest thing this year. So I'm excited, man. It's a whole different realm. But anything I do, like I just want to see, like I hate being like, I did a 5K. Like I'm pumped for people that do it, but for me, it's just like, if we're gonna do it, I'm gonna push it as far as we can go, and we're gonna find out what happens.
You're crazy. I love that.
Yeah. So
it makes sense, man. If you were a bodybuilder before, it's honestly, you got to be crazy for both of those things. So
yeah, I feel like anything, if like to you, like to get to, like someone said this the other day, and it's like, to be strong, you understand it's gonna hurt. Like it's gonna hurt to be a strong man, a power lifter. Like you're loading a shit ton of weight over and over again, and it's like, tweaks are gonna happen, strains are gonna happen. Like, but you have to be a little, like you have to be built different to understand you're gonna go into something full committed, understanding that something eventually is probably gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy to like think about it like that. The mindset that you have to have.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. So question. So with you and Zach doing that, is there anything past that now? Or is that just your fun thing to shoot towards? Is there any, like, are you trying to go any farther with it now? Or is that really what it comes down to?
Honestly, I'm not even looking past this competition. If I do another show afterwards, sure. But it's like, let's just see how this one goes, just one thing at a time. There's a chance I might do something in April as like a have fun warm up, but I doubt it, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's just going to be have fun, focus on this competition, don't get too ahead of ourselves, kind of thing.
That makes sense. Just put all the energy in that and kind of see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, so it's are you doing anything at this point? Like, so I was talking about the mindset stuff. I'm curious. Are
Mhm.
you doing like, do you have any routines that you do today? Like, are you like like, um, like whether it's reading or like listening to certain content or like mantras or like gratitude stuff, or you just kind of like go with the flow? Do you do anything like day to day for that? Like it's like self-development? Like is there anything like you do for you to like continue to improve, whether it's mentally, physically, mental health stuff, or just, or you just kind of like do you day to day, like a normal routine?
A little bit of both. I mean, I feel like I kind of always weave in things that are going to make me feel good throughout the day. For example, like I'll roll my feet out randomly throughout the day. I
Mm-hmm.
hit breathing exercises randomly throughout the day to just realign my posture and things like that. Because it's like, oh, I'm overly achy. Maybe I'll need to like do a couple of quick stretches or a couple like nerve glides or breathing out, like whatever it is. It's like the beginning few things that I do when I go to the gym to work out. I'll like hit a couple of those randomly throughout the day. But I do breathe at least for 5 to 10 minutes every night before bed. If that's probably, I guess, like
Yeah.
my one staple. And it's almost like just by hitting a couple good quality exhales, sometimes I'll feel like cracks happen like in my sternum or stuff like that. It's like I'm literally almost like realigning my body, and
Yeah.
it helps me sleep better too. Because I guess I don't know why, but it's like I feel like looser, and it's like I just go into bed and
Well, it's
yeah.
like you're parasympathetic almost. Like you're getting your CNS to just shut
Well,
down.
that's the goal. That's the goal.
Cause like
So
so I don't know if you've seen any of the posts I've been doing, because it's funny, dude. And the algorithm for Instagram now, like I'll make a post and probably I think it's like 15 to 20% of your friends only see it. It's just the algorithm's trash. So if you
that's
make like,
crazy.
yeah, if you make a normal like Instagram post, like 10 to 15%, 15 to 20, it's really small that actually see it. They're urging people to do reels and also urging people to like market, like paid
That's
marketing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like when you post, you're only getting a very small percent that actually see it. Or if you start liking, commenting, then you'll get more of those in your feed. But if not, like there's a lot of people you won't see. Um, but I've been doing, it's been interesting. So I've been doing more like cold tub stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if,
saw that.
so it's interesting. So I've been like, it's funny for the race. I want to do it more just because like I'm going to be in cold water at times and it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to
Yeah,
suck. So getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And then there's the side of
yeah.
like, learning how to adapt better in the cold, and then just like like there are health benefits and stuff of it. But it's interesting how have you ever messed with the like cold tubs before?
I have, but dude, I'm terrible with temperature, extreme temperature. I can't take it.
Dude, it's funny. Like your brain fights you at all its power to get into a tub for 3 minutes. Like it's literally 3 minutes of your day, and you know you're gonna be fine. But like I remember spending like 40 minutes staring at this. I'm like, there's no way I can get in this tub. But it's like, dude, if I
Yeah.
got in, I could have got out like 7 times already. But I just won't get in the thing.
I can't honestly, I also don't even have a tub that could fit me, and that's another
Yeah,
weird.
you need like I have 100 gallon, you need like a 400 gallon.
I know I would need something big.
I was just curious. I started doing that stuff too. And between that, like my, do you, so like, it's fun. I'm doing my online coaching now too, more trying to do more of that.
Yeah.
Um, how many clients do you have right now at the gym? Or is it like a handful, like kind of right now with this, or is it a little bit more?
It's like a handful at the gym, a handful who do online, a handful who do FaceTime. So
Nice.
it's like I'm like scattered out. So it's a little bit like in every little realm, and I find it actually it's helped me a lot, like stretching to the online world as well.
I need to do like, that's my biggest thing. I don't know, like my goal this year is to just like try to have more balance. Like it's just the going. You've been there, dude. 5:30 in the morning, and then you go there till noon. You go home till like 3, and then you're there till 7:30, and then you repeat. That in
A
school, like
lot.
I have to do an internship next semester. Though this semester. So with the mental performance coaching, so like more of that stuff. Um, I have to do it through an internship through a local, it's a spring sport. So I'm going with women's softball because that's what's going on and they wanted to see how it would go. But it's an interesting dynamic because it'll be the first time I've been hired to do, well, internship, but to be like literally the mental performance coach, not like strength training. So like
That's
learning
cool.
how to get them to handle stress and anxiety,
New
building
seat.
team chemistry. Yeah, like dealing with pressure and optimize performance and
That's
um,
cool.
team cohesiveness and like all this different stuff. So you're like the guy that tries to keep the ship centered
Dude,
and get that
you're
going.
gonna be amazing at that.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's gonna, dude. I'm interested. I'm interested to see if the long term future is to do like online client coaching with people that want to do like body comp, some performance stuff like that, and then the
Yep.
in person turns into more of like working with either high school, college, or whoever athletes or like teams, and maybe being that role, you know, and be the guy to help like get them to perform optimally, like almost not a sports psychologist, but a version of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It'll be
That's
interesting,
cool.
man. Have
I
you
mean,
ever
that's definitely unexplored, and that's a new area that honestly I can't say it enough. That'd be like perfect for your skill set and your personality.
I appreciate it, man. I feel like when I told Bree I was gonna do it, she's like, "Oh, like that's you." Like, there's not a big role. The problem is the industry's still new. Like,
It
you're
is.
seeing it more in sports, but not
Yeah,
as much as it should be because everyone deals with mental health shit. Everyone deals with performance issues and stress and
yeah.
anxiety, and there's just not enough unless you're like a pro level team
No,
or
I
like
agree.
there's not enough like how you know how to get kids to balance all this stuff. Have you ever like had be going in the strongman and all that sport, have you ever seen or talked to like the top guys that have worked with like sports psychologists or like performance people or people that work on like their mindset stuff, or you haven't really heard much of that like already talked about?
I haven't heard. I actually don't think I've heard of anybody who has done that.
Interesting.
I'm lucky because Andy does that for me. Like Andy will give me like literally protocols for focus, protocols for like different things. So he I have all that taken care of. I'm very lucky.
So you're like the only person like to yourself that knows that has someone
Honestly,
potentially,
for strongman, yeah, I'm sure there are people out there. And to
yeah,
be
just don't
honest,
talk about it.
I'm probably more out of touch now more than ever with what the other athletes are doing. To be honest, just because I haven't been around them as much over the past few years. So
It makes sense because I feel like, you know, you look at any of the top guys, whether they just do it on their own, they research their own stuff. But like you said, like breathing techniques, imagery work, a lot of athletes put that into their head and their repertoire right away. Like, you know, visualization of doing this over and over again, being there, living it, breathing it before it even happens. That
yeah,
same concept.
it's incredibly important. It honestly, those are some things that have helped me out on game day so much because visualizing things and all that, it can help you be prepared for the unexpected, if that makes sense. Because
Oh yeah.
if you just show up to a competition and all you think about is how you're going to do well, when one small thing goes wrong, your whole world falls apart. So you have to visualize possibilities, different scenarios, always visualizing you working around things for your best success. But if you don't visualize stuff, then you're missing out for sure.
My obsession right now is like self-talk. So I've seen a lot of different podcasts, performance coaches, psychologists, all these different people that talk about like self-talk, whether it's focusing on positive self-talk or limiting negative self-talk and the impact that
Mhm.
self-talk has when you start actually saying shit out loud. That's been interesting. Like there was a guy, oh man, I'm gonna butcher his name, but it made sense. And it talked about like how saying something negative is 3 to 4 times more impactful than saying something positive.
Yeah,
So
I've heard that.
yeah, like just limiting like, and then what you say is just it's planting that seed more and over again. So
Yeah.
it's probably, I think I've been trying to be more aware than ever to do that kind of stuff, you know, because it makes such a big difference. Like when you're like, I can't do this. I'm tired. I'm this. I'm that. It's like, dude, then yeah, you are like, yeah, of course you're going to be. It's all you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that huge, it plays a huge role. It really does.
So what else is new with you, dude? What else is going on?
Oh,
You got the real estate, you're doing some training, you got the pupper. Is there anything else going
yeah.
on?
Not really, man. Just being a fucking homeowner, you know?
How's
Uh-oh.
it feel?
It feels great. I couldn't be happier. I have so much space to myself now, and although there's always something wrong going on, like plumbing,
Dude,
this, that, like I had to replace my water heater. But I mean, aside from that, I really feel like I'm about to start flourishing, uh, especially as an athlete. Like I know I keep saying how I've had to put the athlete on the back burner and new career and all that. It takes time, but all these things are going to help me be a better athlete in the end of the day. So I actually, I have been, I could probably confidently say happier than I've ever been in my life.
dude, that's awesome. Why
Yeah.
it's so why do you think, like, why do you say that now you're gonna be a better athlete?
Because I have my own space. It's like before I was living at home with my parents and all that, and it was just too crammed. I was living with my brother and all that, and it's like I'm a 300-pound monster. It's like I need
You are a
space.
monster.
Like I need room. I need a whole fridge to myself. I move at my own pace and all that stuff. So I don't know. I feel like I can be more myself.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Cause like even if it's just getting your own routine, no one's in your way, like you just don't have to ask or say what you're doing, you just do it.
Yeah.
Are you by yourself?
No, I'm with my fiance.
Oh, she is that. Dude, I forgot you
Yeah.
were engaged. I
I'm
knew you. I
engaged,
was like,
bro. Yeah.
when did you guys get engaged again? I'm like losing my mind.
Yeah, June.
It was June. I forgot you
Yeah.
got engaged. I was like, I knew you had your girlfriend, but I didn't know you guys got engaged. I
Yeah,
forgot about
June.
that completely.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
plans
so
yet for wedding
I
stuff or not yet?
dude, we're just trying to figure out a way that we can not get screwed by the wedding industry and pay so much fucking money. It's like,
Well, I can give you a recommendation when it comes to me and Bree paid minus the trip. So we went to, we got married in Hawaii.
oh wow.
So that being said, so the ceremony, the photographer, we had a videographer,
That's crazy.
and we had a person set up the whole thing. And the whole thing cost like $4,000. And then we just had the trip of being in Hawaii, and we fucking hung out, and
Yeah, man.
literally
Intro
we,
prices is like 25, 30 grand everywhere you look.
bro, I'm
It's
telling
business.
you, if she's on the bandwagon to do a destiny, I mean, here's the problem,
The,
right? So here's what we ran into. We had to upset a few people because literally it was
of
just
course.
me, Bree, her mom and dad, her brother, and my parents couldn't come. But I explained the circumstance. I'm like, Mom, it's Hawaii. I had two options to do like 150. Here's the options, right? And this is where I put me and Bree first, and I didn't put other people first, and I did ruffle some feathers. But at the end of the day, like I had no regrets. Was the simple fact that we could have done a 150 person wedding, would have cost us like 20
Mhm.
to 30 grand. And
Yeah.
then we would have, so one day you're paying 20 to 30 grand.
Yeah.
And it was this thing where we're like, okay, we can have everyone there. It costs $1 million. It could be kind of a stressful thing. Obviously it's a great day,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
we can pay like 10 grand to go to Hawaii. We didn't even pay that much, but a
Yeah.
huge trip to Hawaii. And we wouldn't have had a honeymoon if we did the big wedding, because just financially we couldn't
Of
have a lot of,
course.
so it was either honeymoon in Hawaii, get married in Hawaii for a third of the cost, or pay that to just kind of invite a ton of people that eat all my food and don't really appease the situation. So that's my view
Yeah.
on it. Like I've been to amazing weddings and they're awesome, but dude, I have like a sick ass video drone footage of like on the beach and like photo shoot, and then literally the limo picked us up at the hotel, dropped us off at the beach. We went through the ceremony, did pictures. Limo picked us up, dropped us at the hell, we changed, and we went down to the beach to celebrate. It was just like it was
That's like
epic.
a dream, man. That's a dream. I remember I saw the pictures and it looked beautiful.
I'm telling you, man, it was a minus like having a little bit of the family, like, oh my gosh, I didn't get to go. But I'm like, so
Yeah.
we got back and we threw a reception party when we got back, and it was still not that expensive. But yeah, man, it's not cheap. Like venues are like 10 grand, some of them. It's
It's
crazy.
wild. So
It's insane.
we're just enjoying being engaged, having the puppy, having the house, because a year ago we didn't have any of it.
It's a
So we
lot of
weren't
change.
engaged, no puppy, no house. So within the past really 6 months, my whole life has changed. And like I said, I've
It's
never been
exciting though.
happier. It's amazing. And the career change as well, selling real estate and beginning into the appraisal side of things, because that's going to be also like a nice consistent income. So,
That's a big
it's
change too, man. Like to have the balls
crazy.
to switch careers when like your whole
Oh,
life has
well,
been one thing.
my entire life has been exercise science. you know, what was it? I was a sophomore. My brother was a senior in high school. And my brother was like, I'm going to school for exercise science. And then I was a junior, and my brother was like, this is fucking awesome. Come do this. And I knew junior year of high school, I was like, I'm going to go to school for exercise science. So it was kind of like my whole life. And then if there was one thing I didn't know anything about, it was real estate. So, like a year and a half ago at this point, I made my initial journey into the world, and it was like learning a completely different language altogether. It still is a lot of it new to me, even though I've been into it for almost 2 years. But I couldn't be happier, like I said. And yeah, it's just I'm excited to see how it's going to allow me to expand.
It's awesome, man. It's super exciting though, because it gives you something else to be good at and improve on and develop.
Yeah,
Where like your whole life, it's like you've already, I mean, not that you've peaked, but you've hit a point where it's like you can still improve, but they're micro improvements where this is like a whole nother
yeah,
craft,
exactly.
which is cool. I've had that point where I've almost switched a bunch of times. I've almost done it because of just like, like, am I burnt out and I don't love it anymore? Or is it just like I need to figure out a way to do it in a way that's less burnout?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it comes down to I've had a realization where like I love the industry, I want to be in it, but I
yeah.
have to do it in a way that I can make more money and not necessarily work less, but like have more freedom of like my hours being accompanied like on a schedule where I
make
can
make
create that.
make more money and not have so many ups and downs. I mean, of course, real estate has ups and downs too. I get it, but like, I don't know, but for personal training, for me, it was almost like every time the season changes,
Bye bye
so many
money.
clients leave, so many clients leave. So it's like you have to be in an environment where you are constantly put in front of fresh faces, fresh people to
Mm-hmm.
market and advertise yourself, and then you could maybe be their coach. I was not in a facility where I get anybody at all in front of me as a new person. So I'm like not in an environment where I can succeed,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like my gym is not an environment for a personal trainer to succeed in. There's no facilities around for, because it's a private facility. I don't want to work for, I'm not doing corporate personal training. I'm not doing that.
We've both been there.
Not doing that. So it's like, all right, then it's like private. And then it's like, there's no other private gyms in my area. And the gym that I'm currently at is a good, like, does give me a good deal, but the environment is just, it's like a desert, bro. So,
Yeah.
and it was, it could be a kick in the stomach sometimes when it's like you're doing amazing one season and then the next season so many people leave, but you haven't gotten a chance to advertise yourself, so you haven't gotten any new clients.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh my god, I'm not dealing with this anymore.
It's a roller coaster, man. And to your point, it's like, like last week I think I had 39 hours of training booked. And
Yeah,
then then like by Tuesday it was down to 31 between cancellations and stuff. So you're like, I just lost 8 hours of work this week. I think that's a big part of why I want to go online and where if I can have my base income, like, my expenses per month covered by auto renewals coming in every month, where it's not like
yeah,
they can not show up, but I'm still getting my monthly payment. You know what I mean?
yep,
And
yep.
that's just like, I'm not saying that in a dick way, but it's just like, hey, at the end of the
Well,
day, like I don't want to like if I go in for, I'm there for I go say I'm like today, like I was there for 6 hours, I'm home for 3, and then I'm there for another 4. I'm there for 10 hours, but I'm getting paid for 6.5 of them. So it's like because of
yep,
the gaps and stuff. I get my lifts in and stuff, but still,
I
if,
know.
if I didn't have to show up at 5, 6, 7 in the morning and I could have those clients online and collect $300 a month or whatever it is, then it's like, okay, it's a lot better.
And,
Usually
you
the
know,
strongest men in the room are the most humblest. That's usually how it works. Because they know it's like my friend who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Dude, he's the humblest dude in the world because he knows at any time, like he could fuck you up, but he doesn't need to tell you. Like,
so I forget the exact movie, but what Star Wars movie when he's like, "There's always a bigger fish."
oh my God. Dude, I'm not
It's
good at
like
Star Wars. This is the
it's
problem.
like Obi-Wan or something. It's
Yeah.
like back when it was Liam Neeson. He was like,
Yeah,
"There's
yeah,
always
yeah.
a bigger fish." I
And it's
always
true.
think about that. There's always a bigger fish, man. It's like, dude, calm down.
Well, even in personal training industry, like you all these people online, like, get 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 people like, ooh, they think they know everything about nutrition or fitness and programming. And it's like,
Yeah.
they act like they're the best. I'm like, bro, you're going to walk into a room and you think like, I'm pumped that, and this is where it's this fine line of I'm pumped that you're marketing your business and you're trying to
Yeah.
build
I
yourself,
love the confidence.
but don't be the bullshit guy that's like, yo, go keto for 30 days, bro. You get shredded and da, 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 da. And it's like, I guess that's the big thing with me moving forward with my content posting is like, I'm willing to grow slow now and be the most genuine myself. Cause I used to get caught up in like worrying about what I think I should post to fit in to the industry. Like, but now it's more like,
Yep.
I'm going to be blunt about some stuff. Like I want to talk fitness, I want to talk nutrition and all this, but I need to be like, yo, bro, like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Like there's no easy fix. If you want to put on muscle, you need to train your ass off and learn what true failure is and then work off that. And then you need to eat a surplus and you do it over and over and over and over again. If you want to lose fat, you need to be in a deficit and it's going to take you 60 weeks to lose your freaking 60 to 80 pounds. And this is what it's going to be. There's no simple and of our butts.
There's no quick exercise. Everyone's like
It's
looking for
not.
the big,
And I
yeah.
won't, and that's where I even talk about now. I used to get caught up in like, yeah, like I think we could do it faster. And now I'm like in consults and I'm like, here's the deal. Like, if you do everything right, which you're not going to, this is what can happen, you know? And that's just the reality of it. And I think I
and you
get
have to be
respect.
realistic.
Yeah. And I think you get more respect now because you are the oddball being genuinely honest of like,
Yeah.
this is what it's going to take if you want this. Now, what is your level of commitment? Are you ready? Like, because this is what you need to do. If not, then we can do something, but don't expect things faster than this. Yeah, the industry's tough right now because everyone is and people are still in the mindset that you're gonna die of cancer if you have a grass-fed steak. So I mean,
I think people just need more guidance, and I'm hoping that some bigger names or some like people who have the power and the voice actually deliver the proper guidance, and maybe we'll see that. One can hope.
I hope so, dude. I hope so
Yeah.
because it'll make everything better, and then people won't come to you necessarily with a lot of predispositions that are hard to switch.
Yeah.
So when you heading to the gym soon? Then once we're done.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Right down the road.
No, I know. I have client at what's it now? 2:42. So I have a client at 4:00. I'm booked from 4 to 7. So we'll hang out that out. And then I had to do it's so funny, man. Like this is the first time in my life this morning, I'm like, oh, I got to do 40 minutes of biking. I got to do like, it's just funny, like fitted 40 minutes of biking.
Yeah.
It's just different. Yeah. Like 3 runs a week, bike a week, and then 4 strength training sessions. So it's just like a balancing act.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. That's my new journey though. That's where we're gonna, it'd be interesting to say like, hey, like, I guess I think about this too. I'm like, it'd be cool to be like, I did the bodybuilding thing. I won my pro card. I never was a genetic freak. I got luck. I did what I could with what I had. It went well. And now it's like, like it'd be cool to be like, I did bodybuilding and then I did a 30-mile, 24-hour race. Like, it's just like tapping into every spectrum a little and just saying,
there is a dude out there who has done that.
Yeah.
Andrew Clayton, if you want to look him up, he's like a psycho. He's
a savage.
Yeah, I think he's the 231 world champion strongman.
That's savage. What a beast.
Yeah, he calls himself the running strongman. You know what he had? So he used to be like a heavyweight strongman. He almost made it to world's strongest man. He got a really bad injury. Came back, won the 231 world championship, I think twice. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure 2 times. And at one point, he got another injury or something during his injury. Where do you know the standing ski erg thing?
Yeah, where you're like hoocha, like that thing.
He set a world record with it.
Bro, that machine sucks.
Yo,
like when it comes to like exhaustion, like it just sucks.
Yo, so he said it's I'm pretty sure it's like a Guinness World Record type thing. And what he did was he went on it for like X amount of time without stopping, and he would actually have people like come in the room and like give him like a drink or like feed him. Like he never took his arms off.
What a monster, dude!
I'm pretty sure it was like 24 hours straight or something crazy like that.
It's like the guy that just did he just broke the world record and did like an 8-hour plank or something like that. It's like talking
about that mental.
That's what I want.
That we were talking about earlier. This kid has it, and I'm sure he'll be the first one to admit it. Sometimes it's borderline just a disorder at that point. Like A lot
Yeah,
of
I'm
people,
sure. Yeah, yeah.
a lot of people who do succeed in those over the top things have like other things going on that they can use to their advantage to break mental barriers and do physically unbelievable things.
You know David Goggins,
Oh yeah.
right? So Goggins. I was thinking about you the other day because I was looking at Jordan Peterson, seeing when he had another speech coming up. But
Peterson, he's another discussion for another time, but I don't like the new Peterson.
Let me hear your real quick thought because we'll shut this down in a few minutes. But
Yeah.
what's your thought on the new, like, what's your big thing with the new Peterson? Quick.
I don't know. When I very first found him years ago, I listened to his 2016 lectures. It was awesome for me. But then I like kind of like found more about him that was kind of crazy. And then I listened to like more of his stuff and even his like Joe Rogan podcast. I think the first one that he did, it's like I could barely stomach it. It was almost like I feel like he's kind of a sellout now.
Once
If
he became not a psychologist and
he's just
professor,
kind
and now
of
he's
like
more of like a social figure.
he kind of has a he definitely has like fucking addiction issues because he went through those issues with the drugs for a
Oh
while.
yeah, he's got a lot. It's
So I think
interesting.
I think so. I think he kind of is a little psycho at this point.
I have to agree with you. Like you said, I like some of the stuff, like when he talks about I do like when he talks about like masculinity stuff because I'm a big advocate of like not taking away like and this not getting political with this, but getting to the
No,
point where like I was talking to Bree because we're talking about kids in 2 to 3 years and like having
yeah, I
kids, and
love
I'm
that.
like, and I want my like I'm gonna raise my kid to be like the man of the household, and like the idea that like if shit goes down, like this is your responsibility. You need to hold down the fort. This is how it's going
Yep.
down, and that's how I like been raised and things like that. So like I like when you empower young boys to like be strong, face adversity, go through things, like things like that.
That's huge. I think that is on point for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the Goggins things, to your point, he's the same thing. Like you
Oh,
could
he's
argue, but the big question is how do you, I think there's so much value in like not taking away like, oh, they do too much, they do this, but can the average person take a piece of them and put it into their life? Because that's the problem with most of society right now is they are getting softer and they don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to face adversity. They don't
yeah,
want to push themselves. And I think that's where ultimately, like the only way you're gonna improve is once you realize that the life you want's on the other side of the shit you don't want to do. Like that's
yeah. No, that is 100% true. So
so cool, man.
Goggins is a freak, bro.
Dude, savage. I'm obsessed with all those people. Like I just because I guess again, they're so out of the norm that that's what fascinates me.
Yeah.
So, but I'll let you go training, man. So you can go. What are you doing tonight?
So today it's like I start off with like a very aerobic protocol, and then I have like one lower body protocol, and then primarily upper body work. But it's all like burnout muscle isolation stuff for now.
A lot of like lactic acid stuff build up.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm gonna go get a fucking pump.
Yeah, get jacked.
Yeah, bro.
I know. It's funny. Mine is just so different, but it's funny because I think how long did you ever get to a point? And the last thing I'll say is, did you get to a point that you felt like you were holding on to a way you trained because it was your identity ever, or no?
Oh, dude, that I think that might even be another podcast for another time. But yeah, about how like strength and
I'm gonna
being
make a
an
note.
athlete.
I'm gonna make a note so we can do this. And
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, yeah, it's a kind of I know other strongmen have talked about it too, but it's like for anything, it's like just be careful making those things your identity. And I still definitely have a training vibe that is my identity and always will be. But it's just it can't be your own. It has to be an identity, not your only identity. If it's your only identity, your whole world can crumble on a sudden bicep tear. So
yeah,
but
mine crumbled.
but
Mine
I
crumbled
think
multiple times, so I get it.
but I think it's okay for it to be an identity as like a part of your arsenal. It's almost like I fucking have multiple personality disorder, but I almost do because training Nick is not even the same person as Nick when I'm just hanging out. And
Yeah,
they should not be the same
it's
person,
like there's Nick and then there's Hadge. There's
Like
Nick and then there's Hadge.
and I think it's really important to have those, and they are totally different people. Like those two different people have different habits, have different trains of thought. It's almost like they're literally completely two different people. And it's almost a skill to be able to tap into one or tap out of one when you need to. So
I agree. I think it's definitely a tool. And like you said, it's almost being able to flip a switch when you need to. And I think that's what, like in strongman, you go from you're walking around to all of a sudden it's time to pick up 800 pounds for reps. And here we go. We got to flip a switch.
and then you have to know how to turn off that. So when I'm done picking up 800 pounds for reps, get out of that mode because it's not sustainable. Like it's like, okay, immediately it's like, how do I get out of this and go back to recovery or being a normal person? So if I'm stuck like this, I'm going to fucking pass out.
Right. Because your CNS is fired to the limit.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah, you'll be taxed as hell. You can't stay in there long. So it's like, how do you go from sympathetic or parasympathetic to sympathetic to parasympathetic?
It's just like tapping into the matrix, bro. That's all it is.
Andrew Tate tapping into the matrix.
Yeah. Oh, is that what he says?
He's all about the matrix. He always calls the government the matrix. He's like the matrix. Yeah, the matrix is coming after him.
Scratch that then. Scratch that.
It's wild. All right, dude. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to jump on and talk a bit.
Yo, it was great to catch up.
Dude, absolutely. Until next time when we can go a bit deeper. Hold on. What are we going into? What are we going into? I made a note. Identity. That's a whole nother conversation. But
it is.
I think it's so true. I think we both can relate to that. And especially like you said, you have setbacks, injuries, and then just going from like losing your identity to how you find the identity again, and then realizing that your career isn't who you are. And like, I think there's a lot of kids now that I think that it's an issue they're going to run into very soon because social media, like that's stereotype, but like, so you got men doing all this stuff and blowing up on social, but you got OnlyFans with girls and doing this identity and they're making all this money and identity is this, their body. And then all of a sudden they don't really have any type of impact or purpose besides that. And it's just like,
it makes me feel like it even makes me feel like an old man. Cause even now I'll see other strongman athletes and I'll look at them and I'll be like, you haven't like gone through like that identity crisis yet. I can like tell like the way you carry yourself. And I don't, it's like, unfortunately, it's like, I already know what you're going to go through and you don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yep. And then how are you going to face that adversity and go through it?
Yeah.
That's the, are you going to make it out the other side in regard to training? And yeah, man. So, well, go crush, get a pump, go be a bodybuilder, get some lactic acid build up.
Bro, I got to put on some size. I can't be the small guy on the field anymore.
Well, man, I mean, there are some big dudes over there trying to show you up now. Here, that's the rumor going around, getting, trying to bully you in that gym.
Bro, no, I'm talking about Canada.
Oh, no, dude, in Canada, here's the thing, bro. You're going to walk in. It's going to be like, let's go, baby. You're going to walk in and run through some fire, whoosh, kicking in. You
want to see something old school?
I do. Bro, that's so sick.
Oh, yeah. That's when, ironically, that's when Andy and I did a tour in Canada. We traveled to 3 different gyms.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah, that's bro.
So sick. So here's my memory lane real quick. Ready? This is my memory lane. It's not lit up right now, but that's my little corner of memory lane over here.
Oh, dude, I know. I love that.
But and then my little dude in the corner, he was like a memorial.
I've been keeping at that dude this whole time.
Then I won my pro card. That was one of the trophies they gave us.
I know exactly what that trophy is.
What was I gonna say? Last thing. Shit. Oh, my one image. Last thing. I'll end it on this. My one image of memory of you when you talk about your strongman. It's the one. Here's your one image of you, where you're. Oh man, here we go. I'm gonna hold 2 bottles instead. Ready? I have the image of you. You're like, you're deadlifting. You got the handles. You're at the top, and it's just. After you won the deadlift competition to win the whole thing, not the hold. I mean the dead hold. The hold.
That was the car
hold for your life.
Yo, you know who was on the car next to me, right?
I forget. No, was it big? Was it big? Or was it
2-time world's strongest man, Tom Stoltman?
That was no way. Was it really?
That's why I was crying.
Oh, that's like, even more epic.
It's like I just won against Tom Stoltman. And I knew I was like, he's gonna be the world's strongest man for like multiple years in a row. So that's why. Yeah.
Up, come here. You say hi?
That's probably the best memory I have.
Dude.
Oh, sweet baby.
Yeah, she's in the zone. We got both of them over here.
Girl. Oh, they're both there.
Hi guys.
Hey, sweeties.
Yeah, man, that's such a sick. Like, I remember it has like all these clips. Like when they were like making the video, it's you at the top holding it, like crying because you're just so freaking hyped, like you won.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the coolest
championship.
Dude, and that was with what's his name? The monster. He's got the like pressing record.
Iron BB was there.
Bro, you took out
Iron
some
BB.
monsters. They had nothing that
I honestly I can't believe that happened.
If you think about who was in the lineup, it was crazy.
Dude, I know.
Oh,
I know.
that's awesome. Cool. Good wing, bro. So
yeah, bro.
Till next conversation. We'll have to do it again soon.
We will. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, brother. I'm going to end this one. Tell everybody next time. I'll see you guys later.